Conversate for a few.
The next episode of Conversate for a Few. I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This is not a podcast about classical music.
Absolutely is not. This is a podcast about hip hop. What are we doing today, bruh?
Yo, it's one of those days, man. We just talking, we conversing for a few, and we want to weave in together. I think, who is Desiree Perez as it relates to music and the legacy of Jay-Z.
And hip hop and how it's looked at as a whole, like a whole lot of things looked at as a whole. I mean,
Right.
maybe it's people that have absolutely no idea who Desiree Perez is, right? So initially, we talk about Desiree today, though. And this episode will air January 21st. Yeah. 2020. January 21st, 2021.
Right.
So it's the day after the inauguration of Joe Biden and the first black woman, female president, you know what I mean? Kamala Harris. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But before fuck Don got out of office, he signed about 150 pardons. You know what I mean? He pardoned about 150 people. And one of those people, a few of those people were of hip hop. Of hip hop. Harry O, who
Kodak.
was co-founder of, because everybody don't know who Harry O is. Harry O, co-founder of Death Row Records, Kodak Black, Lil Wayne, Kwame Kilpatrick, who's not hip hop, but notable black person. But the one we want to talk about is Desiree Perez.
Right. Because that is the odd one that stands out on the list.
Super
odd. Real quick though, before we get there, this is just interesting. Why did he pardon the co-founder and then pardon the other one?
Because of who went to bat on his behalf. Like Snoop and a few other people went to, I can't remember the gentleman's name, but he ended up getting in touch with a woman named Alice Johnson who had President Trump's ear. Yeah. So that's why it was the specific people that went to bat for Harry O versus nobody, I guess, going to bat for Suge Knight.
Right, but which is funny because I would have thought that Snoop would have did the same thing for Suge because he recently said he's visited him and he talks to him.
Yeah. So but I mean, I think they've been trying to get Harry O out for a while. Harry O been in for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, 25 years or 30, one of them, he been in for a very long time. So I think it was like, plus he's sick.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But, it all depends. And I think they probably had a better case for Harry O. I think Harry O's been doing things to better himself or to appear to be bettering himself since he's been in. And I don't know, should been doing much of nothing.
Yeah.
Gooning on niggas in there. I don't know, But yeah. The Lil Wayne didn't surprise me.
No.
It didn't surprise me.
Him or Kodak Black didn't surprise because both of them had took pictures with him, showed support. So to me, ironically, it turned out to be just politics 101.
Yeah.
Like I help you, you help me. That what is it? Quid pro quo.
This for that.
That's what it looked like.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. Now, all right, Desiree.
Desiree. That name on the list is fucking odd. Where does that come from? How does that get brought to even his attention?
Okay, and I'm gonna post it too. Matter of fact, we already posted it. It's on conversateforafew.com. You go, not .com, at conversateforafew on Instagram, right? So one thing that I didn't read every single name of every single person that got pardoned, but I read quite a few, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every person I saw, it had what they did, exactly what they did for the most part, who was sponsoring their pardon. You know what I mean? Like the
Okay.
list of people that were
Right.
sponsoring their pardon had tons of information. Hers had none of that. Hers had nothing. I mean, it was absolutely nothing. It was literally that it happened.
I, which is so odd. That's what makes it weird.
I mean, it's tons of things to make it weird, but that's one of the main things. Like the first thing that I saw was like, wait a minute. I'm gonna go to this site. I'm gonna read what hers says, right?
Okay, and I'm pulling some stuff up too.
All right.
Yeah.
President Trump granted a full pardon to Desiree Perez. Ms. Perez was involved in a conspiracy to distribute narcotics. Since her conviction, Ms. Perez has taken full accountability for her actions and has turned her life around. She has been gainfully employed and has been an advocate for criminal justice reform in her community.
Mm.
Gainfully employed, bro. She's the CEO of Rock Nation.
Yeah, she's a millionaire. Matter of fact, in the year 20, and I just read this, she was named Woman Music Executive of the Year
Yeah, no.
for 2019. Like, what are you talking about? Made it seem like she was.
That's on Conversate for a Few Instagram too. The fact that she was named at his billboard. But this is not first of all, this is not our first conversation about Desiree Perez.
Let that be known. Right.
You
We
know what I
both
mean?
talked about it before a lot of other shows have talked about it in past recent months. We had already talked about it.
We talked about it before a lot of shows did, and a lot of shows skipped it. And even then,
Yeah, that's true.
I think I can count on what the only person that I remember mentioning it other than us was Flip the Script.
Yep, that was yeah. Yep.
I can't think of who else said anything about it other than us.
Yep.
Let me see. I'm gonna get these Trump pardons up, yo.
Yo.
Cause this pardon list, and I'm just going, and I read Desiree's right, and I might read it again just so you can get the difference of. Come on, man, take me to the list, so you can see how it's just so different than.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm just gonna read this one right here.
This is crazy.
Okay, here's another one that's a lot like hers. I see another one that was a lot like hers.
Okay.
I don't want to be reading from here though. I want to be reading from the White House one,
Right. The official document.
the official document. That's what I want to be reading from. Here we go. Nope. These people need to stop playing. Talk to me while I'm doing this, bro.
Yeah. So it's funny because I'm reading because I'm just trying to see if anybody gave any information beyond what is on the pardon, the names of people he pardoned that's on the White House, I guess, website. So I'm reading the article on Revolt TV News, and it just the article is titled "Trump Pardons Rock Nation CEO Desiree Perez,"
Mm-hmm.
and it's pretty much regurgitating the same stuff that you already, that we already know about. Um, and it doesn't, but it doesn't say, it doesn't give any information who sponsored it, who like how it was brought to attention, and I'm trying to figure out. I didn't. Well, okay. Let me say this. I never heard of a pardon of a person that's not serving an active jail sentence. So I'm trying to figure out, like, what are you pardoning the person? How are you pardoning a free millionaire?
Well,
I don't get.
they actually do pardon. They pardon dead criminals.
Yeah, yeah. Now I've heard of that, which is that's also ridiculous.
You
But
see what I
yeah,
mean? So I
yeah,
guess it kind of falls into that. But
I guess, and
in,
even
in
that,
in my situation though, if you think about in this right here, right? She was
yeah.
never convicted of anything, right?
Mm, well, yeah.
Was she?
Well, no, because before she could go to trial and get any type of conviction or sentences, she agreed to cooperate.
Cooperate.
Right. So she was never convicted. She was charged, but charges was dropped once she agreed to become a government witness.
Okay, so my point is, if she was never actually convicted,
How did she get?
and okay, she was never actually convicted, but there's a reason for her to be pardoned now, and we know she was an informant at one time. What makes me think she, right now, today, they just let her off the hook? Today, she's no longer an informant. Today, she could have turned in her badge, but every day before today, she had to do what they told her to do. That's what it sounds like to me.
No, that is a fact. And if you remember, that's exactly what we said back when we first semi discussed it.
Yeah.
Even off the air, right?
Right. Even off air.
It's off the air. We talking about like, yo, this kind of me. They probably got her like she's a part of them until they say she's not,
Period.
because they can just anytime they want bring back up the charges. But I guess this pardon kind of clears her. So to be honest, it's a celebration day for her because she was like, I ain't tied to them no more.
The only reason it ain't is because they threw her name in the streets again.
Yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah,
Like you can't get your name no more in the streets than being on President Trump's pardon list today.
yeah, that's wild.
That is nuts. Cause when I was scrolling through and I saw it, yo, I immediately screenshot that shit and sent it to you. Like
Yeah.
immediately, I was like, yo, wait a damn minute. Why is this here?
Oh, so that's dangerous. But now that ties into something, and I already know. And you can speak on your you know what I mean your perspective on it. But I was reading, you know what I mean, or listening to a old interview from I think 2015 with Dame Dash was on Sway, and I'm gonna read his exact comments because I have the words up. But, where he said where he made a specific comment. Oh man, that's not it. Oh, here it is. Oh man. Well,
I remember when he was on Sway.
well, because I'm looking. Yeah. I have the actual clip right here. I don't want to play the clip. He said that I read about his affiliation with an informant that he's in business with certain people. He said it's tricky for me to say, but just based on where I'm from, I can't have nothing to do with that. There's no more business being done with me and him until I understand that situation.
Okay. And I call bullshit. I say that's cap.
Right, and it may be, but one thing is for sure is what you just said. Even like if that's a lie,
Yeah.
that would be a smart position to take if you were doing something that is not all the way right, right? I'm not saying that he was, but I'm just saying that should have been anyone position that maybe was doing anything that was not right, that was kind of connected to them, because technically at any given, before she was parting today, she was still, you know what I mean, she's still walking around with her badge.
Yeah, he definitely him, Biggs, everybody should have steered clear her based on what we understand today.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. Okay, based on his statement though,
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out, and we know because we done watched enough interviews and all this other shit. You know what I mean? Cameron had a relationship with OG Juan out of Harlem. Harlem is okay. Cameron had a relationship with OG Juan out of Harlem. Cameron also had a relationship with Jay-Z I mean, not Jay-Z, with Dame Dash out of Harlem, right? So you telling me he ends up on Rockefeller and OG Wan ends up being Jay-Z's right-hand man through all this time, right?
Right.
And they go back this far enough that we know it. They interacted prior to when Desiree got locked up. Dame was there too. How in the hell did all that time pass and all that interaction happen and Dame not know that this woman is an informant and that she got locked up with 42 keys?
Mm-hmm.
How he not know that OG Wan woman got locked up?
Right. So she got.
How did he have to read that in paperwork in 2015, 2016?
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
That's cap.
And I think he knew OG Wan on his own.
That's my point. What's the chances? What's the chances that Cam was running with OG Wan, Dame running with OG Wan, they both end up running with Jay-Z and they don't know each other?
Right. Yeah, so I don't know how he didn't know that. Now, the funny thing is that when this happened was 1994.
Mm-hmm.
That year is significant because in between you're talking about 89 to his first release, Jay-Z first release album 96, we get if you listen to our last podcast, a reinvention.
Right.
In between that time. So I do believe everybody knew about it, but everybody wanted to keep it under wraps because they knew what kind of sound that the flagship artist with his new kind of persona was going to be. And it would have definitely, I think, tripled his image to have that so close to him.
Somebody they told.
96, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they did a good job suppressing it for a long time. But we know people knew, a while ago, years ago.
My thing is, it's funny, they did a good job.
The people outside of their circle, people knew.
Right. They did a good job, right?
Yeah.
Why take the risk? I can see keeping OG Wan around, but why put her to work? Why put her to work? You see what I'm saying?
I think I got a good explanation. Oh, I'm sorry, you froze up. You said why you see keeping OG Wan around, but
why put her to work? Why put her anywhere near spotlight?
Okay, I have a theory on that.
Okay.
I think so I don't even call it a theory. This is just what I think. I think they felt indebted, both of them, to do that because of what I feel like she went through because of them. So we're going to make sure you set up right after this. You know what I mean? They took care of her and gave her permission.
So tell me where, So tell me where you find evidence in the music that that may have played out. Because I think that's an interesting theory. It's not just what you think. That's a whole theory, and I like it. Don't cut yourself short. That's more than what you think. Because it's a hypothesis. You went and did some research, and you found some. You see what I'm saying? So it's at least a theory. We go at least a theory. So holla at me about like in the music.
So in Jay-Z's second album, In My Lifetime, Volume 1, on the song "You Must Love Me," my theory is that I think it's the second verse. Yeah, the second verse. Where that second verse, I'm saying that he's rapping the verse as OG Wan. In the verse, he's talking about how he needed an emergency trip out of town, somebody to transport these keys, but his usual mules that would be moving the stuff for him across state lines and taking flights is not available. But he didn't have anyone. But this girl, close companion of his, asks him to, says that I'm available, I'll do it. It's just one time, right? Now, my whole perspective is that he's writing this as OG Wan because it's supposed to be like his girl. that's taking the trip for him. So they strap her up with keys, and in the verse he's mentioning another guy, like it's another guy helping, like get everything together for her. And she boards the plane, and then he said, "Why would I send you when I know this ain't right? I mean, what would make me sacrifice your life? You must love me." And I think that was she, Desiree Perez, in it because she ended up getting caught with 42 bricks trying to transport it. I believe that was Desiree Perez, who was OG Wan's wife. And of course, OG Wan is Jay right hand man. So I believe he put it in the song that way, telling the narrative where it's not him, but he's kind of speaking from OG Wan's experience. And you got to think, if that's your wife, she usually not into that type of thing, but she's just doing this one time thing. But this one time, she actually happened to get jammed up with 42 bricks. She's going away.
Yeah, she out of
And
here.
you got to think, I know Jay and him, you have to feel hella responsible for it.
Yeah.
That you sacrifice that person's life because they basically throwing their life away for you. So that's why I think where it comes in, I think when she did what she did, which is wore the wire, agreed to be an informant, and took down part of the Puerto Rican and the Colombian cartel, that they was like, yo, we're gonna take care of you. We're gonna set you up
and I think
in position.
if and to add to your point, right? If they look at it that way, and she makes the sacrifice of wearing a wire and putting her life in danger to take down those other people, right? And don't nobody on her side go to prison. I can understand how they don't look at his wife as a rat.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I get it.
Even though by all intents and purposes she is.
Right.
But I understand why they accept her back into their fold.
Right. Because the predicament because it was their decision making that put her entire life in jeopardy.
Right. And she stood up when it came to them. She might not stood up when it came to the global aspect of what it means to be a street person. Right. But in their eyes, she might not even have been a street person.
Right. And that's what I'm thinking. She was not.
So all they all they required of her was to stand up for us. And she seemingly has, So it's splitting hairs on about
and it looks like, and to your point, it looks like she like, nah, I ain't like. It looked like she, ironically, because here Cameron come back into it, right? As Alpo, it looks like she was like Cameron at the end, being in Paid in Full. Like I give you some out of town niggas, ain't give you no Harlem niggas be.
Yeah, nobody from Harlem.
Now think about that, Cameron, OG One, Harlem. I ain't gonna give you no Harlem niggas. I give you some out of. She ain't tell on them.
Right.
But I'll tell on these people. I help take down the cartel because this is who we getting it from.
Right. Wow.
Or whatever is going on.
Oh man.
And another place in the song, one other main song is on his latest album, 444, on the bonus track, the joint We Are Family. You decoded this particular one, where the verse where Jay-Z starts out, he says, fuck embargoes, I'm a narco, Colombian ties, shout out to Dapo, OG Wan also.
Yeah.
So when we look at that, he said, fuck embargoes, I'm a narco. Everyone, like most of us are familiar with narcos, right?
Yeah, you know what a narco is.
Ties. Shout out to Dapo, OG Wan also.
Yeah.
And you brought to my attention, like Dapo, the main letters is like DP. Who do we know will let us DP connected to OG Wan and anything
and
Colombia?
Jay-Z and Colombia. Yeah.
Desiree Perez,
Dapo.
Shout out to Dapo, OG Wan. Yeah, so over the years, like throughout Jay-Z catalog, he's dropped a bunch of context clues, as I call them, for the listener that's paying attention to connect all the dots to get the story. And actually, now when I think about it, I remember earlier that what I wanted to ask you is, how do you see the outside world of hip hop? Like, how do you how do they accept this story? Everything that we just said, how do you think it'll be accepted now that new light is shed on? Because it had, I would say, two two resurgences,
Mm-hmm.
right? Since this happened in '94, and the people who ever knew about it at that time, it came back up late 2000s, kind of went back under the radar with the Rockefeller breakup, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of went back under the radar, but being put, as you mentioned earlier, on Trump's list of people he pardoned, that cast a whole new light on it and brought a lot of attention to it. And the article is like on Revolt. I guess it's on Tidal. I don't know, but like a lot of platforms has articles about it.
Yeah, it's definitely on Revolt. Funk Flex is going crazy. Funk Flex is capping too.
Yeah, and
Acting like he didn't know.
No, right, and he's doing a live at 7 o'clock talking about it.
Is it 7 o'clock today? I thought he was going to wait till Monday. I thought it was Monday he doing it.
Oh no, I might have misread it. You might be right, but I thought it said 7 today. Yeah,
I think that. Yeah. So okay, the hip hop world is some of them gonna use it for clout.
right.
You know what I mean? Like Funk Flex is using it for clout. I think the younger generation, though, if honestly, I think the younger generation, this might even be the platforms that it's coming out on, maybe too highbrow for them to even see it.
Right. But you know what's funny is if you remember when Tekashi first got out, he mentioned this.
He definitely mentioned it.
He mentioned it.
Yeah.
And he mentioned a few others because remember he came at Snoop at that time, but he definitely mentioned Desiree Perez.
Yeah.
Her being an executive Rock Nation. Nobody got a problem with that.
Academics mentioned it too.
True.
Academics mentioned it too in regards to Meek Mill. Like,
Right.
how is it that your CEO is an informant and you over here doing prison reform talking about people snitching? Like, how are you a hypocrite? Like, he said that. So
Yeah,
I think there's gonna be a faction of people that make a big deal out of it, with absolutely no context. Now, do I think it's a situation that is contextual and deserves some nuance? I don't think there's anything in life that isn't contextual and doesn't deserve nuance.
Right.
So I'm not on that cold. This is a snitch. This is a rat. This ain't. You shouldn't do this. I'm not on that. You know what I mean? Like, I understand that everything is relative. You know, there are certain times where it's in your best interest, bro. Where want nobody in this situation. You know what I mean? In it for the good of you. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you in this by yourself. I might sound crazy, but this is just the reality of the world. I mean, shit, we just talked about one. But everybody on the team was like, it's in your best interest to tell. Just don't tell on us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, so there's so much nuance. But I know it's going to be a black and white argument on the internet.
Yeah.
You know?
Which off the bat is fallacious on the face of it. Because it's not just black and white.
No.
It's a lot of things that got to be contextualized, and there's a lot of nuances to this whole thing. And it's quite an anomaly also because it's actually a female as opposed to a male, and a female that was not necessarily living by a street code. Although I do remember, I have heard an argument. No, but she was from the Bronx. She grew up in the hood. She's supposed, and she know whatever. No. You know what I mean? It's something different.
It's all relative, bro. If this girl might have been, she might have been a gangster, but we don't know that she was. You know. Yeah. So I don't think. I think the people that can glean some attention from it will. You know what I mean? Sure. I think the people that are gonna have their opinions on it, like harsh opinions, they harsh takes, Desiree rat, all this Jay-Z standing next to a rat, all types of stuff. When now, I ain't gonna be able to tell none of them people they wrong. But I'm not gonna be able to ride with them and be like, yo, they need to get her out the industry either. Now I will say though, if she is If she's doing what we accused her of doing earlier in this episode, though, she need to go. Not die, but they need to get her out the industry, because you can't be in the industry, set niggas in the industry up. Not to say that's what she's doing. She may be informing on something that has absolutely nothing to do with hip hop, but that just looks crazy, because it's just
looks crazy, especially with talk of not even the talk, with facts that we know of about hip hop police.
Right. And how they investigate the hip hop police being one thing, but like it's on a whole nother level now.
It's a whole nother level.
So we can't. It would be real hard for me to be an authentic street artist. To even bring my partners around. Your organization. You see what I'm saying? Like, it would be, if I was an authentic street nigga that turned MC, I know that the people in my clique, some of them is not right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be comfortable bringing my business around you.
Right.
That would make me uncomfortable.
I agree with you. And the only response to that is, will we ever hear a Benny the Butcher or any Griselda and Jay features?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're not going to turn one down. They don't give a shit about this. They're not going to turn that feature down. If Jay be like, yo, I want to get on that one, them niggas is going to be like, yes, thank you. They already signed. They don't care.
Yeah. No, I know. I know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't give a damn. They don't care. But you see, like, I think they smart. There's a lot of different types of artists, right?
Yeah.
If I'm an authentic, straight up, and I know I'm not bringing nobody around me to steal in the streets. I'm not doing that no more. I'm more adult about my situation. You see what I'm saying? I'm not 1 foot in, 1 foot out like a younger artist may be. If I'm in Benny and West Side and Conway situation, I feel a lot better about signing the Rock Nation. I don't care who the CEO is.
Yeah.
And what she did. That ain't got nothing to do with me. This is a company that does. You see what I'm saying? And that's another thing. This ain't a black or white thing. This, you know what I mean? But this is, honestly. Black people got to stop being stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you gonna go get the job of your life, is you worried about whether the CEO did some shit that you wasn't comfortable with?
Nope.
I wouldn't give a damn what the CEO of Apple did. For real.
And whether you care, I'm just saying this for black people. Even if we did care, we don't know. You don't know their business. You don't know your dentist, what he do, what he did.
Right. Stay out these folks' business. That's really what it's boiled down to. We might need to just stay out these folks' business. It's just funny that this is the culture we live in, and we know that the art, the genre, that the world that we live in is gonna react to it. We just had Gilly and them saying that some young boy from Texas' career need to be over because his name was in some paperwork when he was 13. He told on somebody.
Yeah, which his mom took him to the station and had him say what he saw when she gave her statement.
The person killed his brother.
Crazy. That is insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. Like, they dead wrong on that. And everybody that was doing that, taking pictures down and posts down they had with him in his song, that is ignorant.
And like you said, the industry should have the same energy for Rock Nation. If that's how they really feel.
Right. Because it's just showing that, like, you know what I mean, you faking, you halfway in it.
You bullying, you fighting who you know you can beat.
Right.
But when it's somebody, I think, because you brought up a point, right? And I want to speak to it because I didn't know whether as a broader topic it was enough. It's idol worship that you was bringing up, right? And I want you to, I'm gonna say my piece, and then I want you to explain what you was saying. You see what I'm saying? But I think this might be my counter to what you were saying. I think a
All
lot
right.
of times people it's less idol worship and more people pick on who they think they can beat.
Mm,
They won't pick on the person they don't think they could beat.
right.
They won't even speak on the person they don't think they could beat.
Right.
So it might
And
be less worship
yeah.
than just people not standing on their own like they say they do.
True. I can see that. And I can see that perspective for sure. But it's funny, as you said that, I came up with a whole nother perspective. But I'm gonna go back and say, like, my idol worship thing. I feel like artists that people love and admire and look up to, and they're the biggest artists, like a Jay, like nobody don't want to say, like, they get passes. The more loved you are, the more cherished you are in the eyes of the hip hop community,
Yeah.
right? You give them passes for certain stuff that you wouldn't give a rapper that's on a lower scale of pay and lower scale of fame.
Yeah.
You wouldn't give
And
him a pass
power.
and power, right? And so I think that's what goes. That's what I think this was kind of an example of that. But then, of course, you just gave antithesis, which saying that no, maybe it's more so people are not going after. They won't mention, people that they know they can't beat, essentially.
Right.
But then I thought about this: people in power have influence. People
True.
in power have money. Number one, that's what empowers them, right? Their financial resources. So I thought about this. People don't want to say anything against somebody they think they may can get a favor from at a certain time.
Facts.
Like
Facts.
I would like I'm saying if I'm that type of person, right? Man, I would love a Rock Nation deal or check or whatever. So I'm not going to say anything to offend that side.
Right.
But on this other side, these other dudes, I gotta say something about it. Like, see, you know what I mean? And so that might be a part of it too.
Absolutely. I mean, you hear people saying, I got Jay's number, but I'm only gonna call him for that special thing. Like I'm not
Yep.
going. You see what I'm saying? It's like, so yes, I guarantee you, people are currying favor by leaving stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
And you got somebody like Flex that don't feel like he has the favor that he was curried, so he lashing out.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't, like, he don't see himself being able to get that dollar with him later, so it doesn't benefit him to not say nothing.
Right. So if he if he feels like he sees the foul on the play, he gonna call it because he ain't worried because he already know he ain't gonna get, he ain't getting nothing on that side.
He gonna call him when it benefits him.
Yeah.
Because he could have called it in June.
Yeah. True. Or before then.
He could have called this in June 2017 if he wanted to.
Right, because even though he said, on his recent post that he's just finding out about that today.
That's bullshit.
And I got a theory about that too.
Okay.
Right? He's just finding out about it today. I think that's an absolute lie because if we down here in North Carolina fucking knew about it, you damn sure working with Jay-Z on the radio, having history with him, and just being in the same city, you knew. If we knew in the South, damn it, you knew up there, right? But I think what he's going to try to do when he's pressed like that or someone mentions that, like, stop fronting like you ain't know before today. He's going to say, well, look at my wording. I'm saying I didn't know she was on the pardon list to today. He going to flip it.
Yeah.
I think he's doing this.
I think you're right. And I think for what he's going for, it's smart. Because it's the troll within the troll.
Yeah.
Like, the whole statement is a troll. But then if I can get you to nitpick my statement, we got a whole nother level of conversation. I'm just building content by misquoting, by misspeaking.
Right.
Outrage.
He's
trolling himself.
The troll within the troll is you trolling yourself.
This is troll bait.
Yeah.
He wants you to jump in his comments and call him a liar.
Mm-hmm.
He baiting us.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I mean, well, it's working because I think you're a liar. How about that? I think you're lying because you knew.
Yeah, he definitely knew, and he know he knew.
None of us knew about the pardon list until today.
Right. But that's what he gonna try.
You see what I'm saying? Like, well, yeah. None
Yeah,
of
he
us
gonna,
knew that. We knew about Lil Wayne before today, and we heard about Harry O, but we didn't even know they. You see what I'm saying? But nobody knew Desiree was gonna be on there before today. So
yeah,
if that's your argument, bro, no, you can't run with that one because
right.
that's obvious.
Now let me ask you this. I got to know your thoughts on this. How do you think her name ended up there?
Bro,
That's the $1 million question.
that's the $1 million question. That's the $1 million. This is how I think it got there because I have a few conversations a week with one of my best friends, Black, right? And
Yeah.
we have like the most in-depth, theoretical, philosophical conversations about politics. I mean, conjectural. You know, like, so like sometimes
Yeah.
it's fantasy, but we just go at it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I watch a lot of this stuff. So my opinions and my thoughts will be right for this conversation.
Right.
So in my thinking for that, like we've been talking about the pardons, of course.
Mhm.
I know that this weekend, Trump's lawyers, a few of Trump's lawyers, got together with Trump and his family, his inner circle, and told them that it was in his best interest to not pardon himself or his family members, right? Because it would appear guilty. Another thing that they told them was that there should be a large number of people added or on his pardon list if they're not only already on there that speak to criminal justice reform.
Mm. Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Pandering even still. You know what I mean? Like he's still like they were trying to pacify him. They're trying to make him feel like this is something that might help you in the future. Like you actually have a future. You orange bitch, uh, which you don't. You orange fuck. Uh, yeah. So
So
I think, and if you remember when I read Desiree's description of her pardon, I'll read it again. President Trump granted a full pardon to Desiree Perez. Ms. Perez was involved in a conspiracy to distribute narcotics. Since her conviction, Ms. Perez has taken full accountability. I said it wrong last time too. Accountability for her actions and has turned her life around. She has been gainfully employed and has been an advocate for criminal justice reform in her community. That last sentence.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Put it criminal justice reform on some high powered names, on some big names. If I pardon the CEO of one of the major record labels next to Jay-Z, it's almost shitting in Jay-Z's. It's almost a diss.
Mm.
Cause it's stirring up. It's like it's stirring up shit when it was unnecessary.
Well, yeah, in a way, but see, and that's what I was getting to is like because there's a lot of people that do criminal, is advocates for criminal reform. So why her? You know what I mean?
But the names have to ring out because just doing it for advocates of criminal reform don't help you.
Yeah.
Like if I'm an advocate of criminal reform, letting one of my boys out ain't gonna do him no good.
I
Letting
get.
one of Snoop boys out though,
Hmm.
gonna ring out.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Letting the CEO of Rock Nation go is gonna ring out. Letting Kodak Black go is gonna ring out.
Yeah,
Letting Lil Wayne, because there's absolutely no reason for Kodak Black and Lil Wayne to be out.
right. And I was just that's funny.
There's
Uh,
nothing. Them niggas ain't did shit to get pardoned.
yeah, and I was just asking because because I was trying to force you into a new theory
Oh, word. Okay. Talk to me. Talk to me.
of where that came from. But no, we like I'm gonna let that one rest. But Obama pardoned people like he could have pardoned her. You know what I'm saying? And it would have made more sense then because Jay actually, as he said, I'm part of the small reason the president we got is black, right? Like it would have made more sense.
It would have made more sense unless it's a diss.
Right. But like
Jay and Desiree and OG1 did not need this. This
Yeah, I
was
know.
this was unnecessary attention, and I'm certain they didn't go asking for it. They
I
probably
know.
told Obama, "You better not put her name on that fucking list. Like we don't need that shit." Like you see what I'm saying? So this,
Yeah.
I don't think this was a favor. This woman ain't been locked up ever.
I know. I know.
This ain't a favor. You see what I mean? Like this is not a favor from Trump at
Yeah.
all. It's a favorable act, but it's not a favor. Every favorable act you do for a person ain't a favor, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, y'all know you know that. I'm just saying it out
Yeah. Yeah.
loud. You know what I
Right.
mean? But
Yo,
so
that's
that's how
funny.
I think she got on the list. I think he using her.
Mm.
I think he using her. And you don't think Trump is vindictive, and you don't remember when Trump mentioned Jay-Z by name?
I don't remember. What do
It was during the elections last time when he campaigned for Hillary. In the last day of the election, Jay-Z performed in Philly.
Okay.
You see, or the last week, you know what I mean? He mentioned and I think Jay-Z cursed on stage or something. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And Trump was making a big deal about how this rapper Jay-Z cursed on stage, and I guess he's trying to get people to come vote for Hillary. You understand what I'm saying? Like he's holding everything, bro. He don't let nothing go.
That's funny.
He don't let nothing go. It might not be directly that, but I
Yeah.
know, but that didn't help, is what I'm saying.
Right.
That whole criminal justice reform thing, though, I think that's why you see so many names, so many recognizable black names on there.
Mhm.
You know, and the ones that he could do it and throw some shit on the person, he doing it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, ain't that crazy, man? When like a presidential pardon isn't in your best interest.
Yeah. That's yeah, and it's bringing unwanted attention.
She gotta
That
write a book, bro.
yeah.
She gotta write a book. She gotta write a book.
If she was smart, she already got it written. She would drop it next week.
Yeah, along with the movie,
Right. Word.
because this is, I mean, wow, wow. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Could this be the narrative for some female rapper?
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly what Desiree did, to tell it and all.
Yeah.
And them holding me down after I come back and all this good shit could be a narrative for a female rapper.
Absolutely, for sure. That someone could pick up that narrative and run with it, and it go.
And that right there is the double standard that you were speaking to.
Yeah.
Cause that couldn't possibly be. Ain't no man on the planet could pick that narrative up and run with it.
I know. Yeah. No. 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 No.
I don't
No.
give a damn who you told on.
Favorite. Yeah. Your favorite rappers could not pick it up and go. That's not gonna work for Cam. That ain't gonna work for Benny. Ain't nobody trying to hear that, man.
It ain't gonna work, period. But I do believe a female rapper can pick that narrative up and run with it,
Hmm.
and it worked. That's crazy.
Because I hate to bring this up, but we talk about the misogyny in hip hop. But
Mm-hmm.
when just think about how, like, you know what I mean, people like the whole uh, uh, a permeating theme has been in hip hop is, you know what I mean, hoes and bitches, and they ain't shit. You don't trust them. I fuck them. I don't care about them.
Right.
That's been an overwhelming theme.
Right.
But when girls have adopted, when certain female artists have picked up, right, I don't know what you want to call it, the whole bitch bag, and
Thought
built
hop.
the counter around it, they
Thought hop.
popped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thought hop. And they popped. So somebody's loving it. So I'm just saying, it's another thing. You dissing something, like, but then everyone loves it.
Yeah.
Like, this
You
shit
right.
is so conflicted. Hip hop is my favorite genre of music, and it's the universal hack, or a global hack. It is the biggest global hack, right? But it is because it has crossed so many boundaries, and and it brings so many people together and stuff like that. It is the most conflicted and convoluted genre of music. So
Absolutely.
you're gonna find deep, hypocritical themes and a bunch of double standards all throughout.
Yeah, you're gonna find double standards. You're gonna find hypocrisies. You're gonna find sinister themes. But you're gonna find all the opposite of that. You
Yeah,
might find that and the opposite on the same album.
on the same album.
You
Yep.
know. So, but yeah, you're right. Hip hop is that. Hip hop is the only place where Desiree Perez can exist.
Hmm.
It's the only place that it even matters that she exists though.
Yeah, that's true too.
In music. Like this don't even matter. I think that's something that we need to. I think that's important. Like when we talk about who is Desiree Perez, right? And going through all our convoluted talk, because I don't know if our conversation makes sense to a person that don't know what we talk about.
Got you.
I just want to say that because I don't know what to listen. Because this here was literally a conversation between me and you about something we know about something we interested in, and I
Right.
don't know how good a job we did informing people. You know what I mean?
Real
Like
fun.
bringing them along. I just don't know. I can't speak to that. You know.
Yeah.
But what I can speak to is the fact that it's important because if you look outside of this genre of music and
Hmm.
take her story and put her in any other company in any other genre of music, this is a non-story.
Yeah, this won't make no headlines.
This wouldn't even have been a blog.
Yeah.
It's insignificant. Exactly.
Mhm.
This is nothing. You know what I mean? So it's important because it's only important here. Why is that?
And it's only important because of uh because of a particular narrative and the personas that people adopted within hip hop that says snitching is bad, it violates the street code because you got this influx of street high luxury drug deal rap.
Yep.
And part of something that goes against that is, of course, the number one thing is snitching.
Yeah.
And so that's why this is even a thing in hip hop because it seems to violate the highest code. You know what
The
I mean?
highest code from outside hip hop.
From outside.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Which is I don't know. It's just a paradox, bro. It's like
Yeah.
if it's only in this genre, right, and it doesn't exist in any of the other ones, is it a flaw?
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? It's like you know what I mean. Like if all this is there's a different species of dogs,
Mhm.
right? And all of them are built the same, and this one over here got something in it that makes it tear itself apart, makes it talk, whatever it does.
I get what you're saying. Hmm. Is
Is
it
it
like a defect or something, a
is it a
flaw? Yeah.
defect in this dog?
Chasing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a mutation in hip hop.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's a good thing. That's a good question. Um, I guess both sides could be argued that it is and it isn't.
Right, because I think the street element being brought into the music added something to the music that needed to be there, a more journalistic side. But I think once you stir that
It
street
brought
element, huh?
unnecessary, but I think it also brought unnecessary baggage.
It definitely it brought unnecessary baggage.
It's the code.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
people not living by people, gangsters. And I hate to keep referring back to it, but paid in full. Alpo, he was a person that killed a bunch of people. He still told it. He not only did he kill people, he still went to jail. You know, most snitches, the purpose of telling is to basically get off.
Mm-hmm.
But certainly at very least get your time extremely reduced. But I mean, he still ended up doing 20 plus years,
Yeah.
and he murdered multiple people, and he still told on someone. See, so the whole image and persona of being a street dude or a gangster, that doesn't, even if you really are that, that doesn't exonerate you from being a snitch.
Nah.
So it's kind of like, and people kind of still fear him. But so it's kind of like this is where a whole paradox and contradictions come into play. So, like, what is this good for? Because it doesn't take away or add to any quality of the music, which is all we're concerned about, getting good music.
Facts.
I don't really care about whether Drake can fight or not, or whether Drake shoot or not. I just need good music. I just want good records.
Right.
The other stuff is insignificant. I mean, it's immaterial. But
I agree.
It only becomes important when that person is adopting a particular persona that people buy into and believe. But however, music has progressed so much that we pretty much all know that the shit is WWF. And 98% of people talking about the shit, if you're talking about it, you're not living it.
Yeah, true. We all know as adults. We all know as adults that it's 99% WWF, right? These kids don't see that. And I understand why they don't see it, because so many rappers is getting shot and all this other foolishness is happening. So it makes the genre appear more real and dangerous than it actually is. It's as real as dangerous as these people are stupid.
I think, yeah, no, I get you.
You see what I'm saying? It's only as real as dangerous as these people are stupid. I hate to talk about it that way, but it literally is only as real and dangerous as these people are stupid. And I don't think these kids realize it. It's literally as fake as it's always been.
Right.
But it gets real and dangerous when these people that ain't really who they say are go out in the streets, or if they are, they really who they say they are, and they go out in the streets and don't protect themselves as if they say they are who they say they are.
Right. Right. I think what we're seeing is it's the whole art imitating life thing. But I think at this point it's like the art trying to catch up to the life, living it out what they're saying, which is art. When it used to be, it was the life being expressed in the art.
Right.
But it was like, it kind of like I don't know, simply put, kind of like, I want to rap about a gun, or so I'm gonna go buy a gun so I can rap about it, and it's real because I actually rapping about a gun that I have, as opposed to I know I don't carry guns and I'm rapping about it. So like they trying to catch up to what they're saying to make it real.
Yeah, that's happening. I agree. That's absolutely happening. But that shit was happening when we was kids too. But we didn't see it that way.
Yeah.
We just saw our lives changing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I'm saying? We just saw our lives changing things, but that we might not have reacted exactly. I don't think we ever did it intentionally. Do you understand what I'm saying? To take on the persona of the music that we listening to. I don't think we ever did it intentionally. But I think we did kind of do it.
Okay, because I was going to say, like, so the first gun I ever got, right, was 10th grade. After, like, I had never really had problems with anyone. I knew people in all mad neighborhoods, and all throughout Raleigh, and Garner, like, so I didn't have no gun. The one time when a group of people tried to jump me for something that was an argument between my man and another person from another neighborhood about his girl, but they didn't see him. They saw me. They tried to jump me. Then I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. That ain't, they didn't, because I got away.
Right.
But I immediately went and got a hammer. And needless to say, I never had a problem again after that.
Right.
And I let it off. I never had no problem after that. Never. I had no problems. You know what I mean? But
I feel you. But
before, I'm rapping the whole time, right? But I never rapped about having no burner until after that time, because I didn't believe in rapping about something that I wasn't involved in or wasn't doing. Now, that still kind of, I guess, would be kind of bad, or kind of is the same thing, but it took a different route for me to get there. You know what I mean? Because I wasn't looking to rap about that type of thing, although, you know what I mean? But then I am. Now it is in my music, because now I really am.
I totally understand. Like
You know,
I totally get it. But
it was a natural
that's
progression.
that's kind of what I'm saying though. Like you would have never seen that as I put it to you this way. I put it to you this way.
Yeah.
Without the music,
Hmm.
getting jumped, what's the alternative? Buying a hammer ain't one of them without the music.
Oh, so I'm confused. What do you mean by that?
Your option to buy a hammer came from the music.
Okay. Well, I don't. I mean, I just.
Do you
I mean,
understand what I'm
yeah,
saying?
guns existed before I got jumped.
I
I
know
just.
you knew guns is I know you knew guns existed before you got jumped. But take hip hop out of your life. If they was about to jump you, do you think it's in your parameter to go get a hammer?
Okay. All right. I think I understand what you're saying. So no.
Exactly. Mine either. You understand what I'm
I get
saying?
what you're saying.
Like guns
I get
being
where
prior
you're
to
from.
hip hop, guns being around with some shit that your uncle or your dad had laying around in the closet.
For protection for
A
the house
rifle or something like that. Like, yeah, exactly. But
or
after
the
hip
house.
hop, a gun was something that you saw and I saw that if you decided you was gonna do something to me, I was gonna put something in you, a hole.
A hole. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's post hip hop.
Right.
I don't know that that sentiment would have been there without. That's kind of my point. We don't know that we doing what
Yeah.
we.
Yeah. No, you got it. I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah,
Point well
so
made.
I think it's happening to these dudes too.
Got it. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately. Yeah.
Unfortunately, and it's happening with higher artillery. It's happening with the internet, so they
Mhm.
closer to each other, even when they
Right.
further away.
Right. And that's what's crazy is because I was going to make the point. What's crazy is, but I didn't. We didn't have a bunch of shootings and fatalities then.
Mm-mm.
Even with us having guns in our possession and stuff. But you just said something like they're closer, even though they're further away, higher artillery. Everything is just way more intensified.
Yep.
And again, the further you go back, you don't really have social media or the internet boom. So you don't know where people are moving around to.
Right. Right.
You know, you may never see these people.
And if you really want to, you can avoid them.
Yeah, and yeah, truthfully, you can avoid them,
You can
right?
avoid them. You
Hmm.
know. But nowadays, you can't even avoid nobody and be comfortable where you are. Not on the internet.
Yeah, yeah.
Because as soon as you drop your location or you show that you frequent this place, or you know what I mean, like it's a whole different zone. So I know, and it's funny we got all the way here from Desiree Perez, but I think Desiree Perez's name popping up on a pardon list. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
from President Trump shows how integral crime has gotten into hip hop.
Right. That's true.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way in the hell this shouldn't be a story,
No, it shouldn't be.
and it's only a story here.
Right. And you know what's funny is now watch this, and not to make it a black and white thing, as you said, but it is. Right. But look, I'm just thinking about classical music, right? I love classical music,
Right.
right? I like a lot of people, Johann Sebastian Bach, Johann Sebastian Strauss, like just a bunch of, and then Joshua Haitian-Fetz, who's like considered the greatest violinist, right? One of the greatest violinists ever. But I'm just thinking about that. I'm thinking about bluegrass, country, what you consider pop, um, rock. Like there is really no other genre that crime is so intricately linked to than hip hop. There's no other genre that has police named after their genre to police them.
That's a fact.
There's no country police. There's no heavy metal police, but there's hip hop police. You know what I mean? And so, but also when we look at that crime being so intricately linked to that genre, police having a particular department that focus specifically on hip hop artists, and then you look, and of course, hip hop is dominated mostly by black men and women.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it is I can say this. Hip hop is truly a reflection of the black and white America that exists.
Of the experience.
Of the experience.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's true. It is a true reflection of the experience.
Yeah.
We get policed differently than everything that ever existed. Everything that exists in our plane, we get policed different.
Right. And let's be clear. Various depending on rock, classic rock, something different. But heavy metal and some of these other divisions of rock, you will hear criminality in it.
What? Satanism.
Right. It's downright Satanism.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and in country music, I'd be damned if they don't sing about the outlaw.
They definitely do.
You know what I mean? Like there's definitely the outlaw was a guy. He's the guy in country music.
Right.
So
right,
there's crime there.
So it goes back to we are policed differently. We are treated differently, even in the musical genres.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But yeah, so Desiree Perez story. It's good because it gives birth to some other themes that we find rippling throughout the hip hop community.
Right. Who she is important because I think it, like you said, it speaks to. I didn't realize it before we started the conversation, but who she is and the fact that she's important speaks to hip hop in a way that I hadn't really considered. Yeah. You know what I mean? It made us consider hip hop in a way that we've considered it before, but I didn't know it was gonna get us there from this.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like you said, it's a lot of. I still don't know how she ended up. Like, I would love to sit down and ask him why her.
Right. I would love to
to get a specific answer from him, like why her. I would love that. Because
I know off the top of his head, he just didn't know her.
I'm telling you, people brought him names.
Right.
Well, we know this, but
who brought that name? I want to talk to the person that brought that name.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, and if you go to it's a White House link, yeah, and they have 100 and so names, and if you read through it, for the listeners, y'all go read through it, and I promise you, it'll show who was it that sought and endorsed this person. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's 5, 10, 20 names of people that endorsed this person for pardon. Yeah. Under Desiree's, it's only what I read on this show. And I read it twice. It's only that one short paragraph. And it is no detail about what she actually did. It just says she got caught with some narcotics. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But in other people's things, it said how much time they served, what they got caught with. You know what I mean? Like all types of stuff. But hers, extremely vague.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. Okay, so let me ask you, what are a few things? What, if anything, what are you left questioning? If you got any questions you like answered out of everything that we had this conversation, other than how did her name? Because that's our main question, right? Yeah. Is how did her name get on that list?
Yeah. How did her name get on that list? That's kind of it. I'm a lyrically driven dude. Like you hear the beat first, I hear with the words first. So I'm trying to figure out and I think I may have cracked the code. Now, would decipher another part of J. Rhymes from "I'll Never Change" on Blueprint, where everybody said, even Bleak himself said, "Man, I don't know what he's talking about. That's crazy." But when he said, "I lost 96 bricks." And had to fall back to the this and that, you know. I mean, had A1 credit, got more crack from the first to the fifth, gave it all fat. This is before rap, 9-4. Yeah. This is all fat. So 96 bricks is like, no, if I'm your plug and I front you 96 and you fuck up 96 kilos, you ain't getting shit back. I don't care what your credit. You know what I mean? Even if you was good before, that's crazy. So, but now I'm figuring it out. 96, she got knocked with 42. So I think it really may be he took losses in different places because 42, 96, that is what, 54 bricks still out there.
Right.
I'm sure I can find it somewhere. I listen back through his catalog.
You'll find a few more situations where he lost some, yeah.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think it's all in his music.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's
that's the
all in this
thing.
music.
I never in my life, even though I've been knowing for years now, right, that she got knocked 42. I never even thought to equate that into his line about the 96.
Right. Yeah, I can see that easy. I can see that easy. I think the only other thing well, not the only, but one of the other questions I would want to have is, and this is just nosy shit. Like, what
Yeah.
was her reaction? Like, what was her reaction?
There you go.
What was that conversation between her, Jay, and OG Wan like
That's it
today?
right there. That's it. That's the main. I would love to know her reaction and what their dialogue around this pardon is. I would love just to.
Yeah, that would be epic right there.
Yeah. It would be dope if they just randomly one day came out and talked about it and did a special. If he was smart, well, he is smart, but I'm saying what would be a smart thing for him to do to redirect energy, flow of energy, and people back to title for subscription. Desiree Perez tells all. Sit down with OG Wan and Jay-Z and tell all to have somebody moderated.
Yo.
But you can only get it if
on
you
title.
subscribe to title. Bro, that's $1 million idea. Do you fucking know how many people are gonna subscribe to that?
I would.
Everybody gonna subscribe just to watch that.
Yep.
One-time subscription fee or whatever it costs to subscribe, bro.
Yep.
If Jay was if I was to talk to Jay tonight, I'd be like, yo, this is the idea I got. I'm telling you, it's gonna double everything for title site.
Mm-hmm. And he looked at it, and they gotta know this is a good ass story. So it's like,
and they can do a movie.
Well, obviously they know it's a good story because he's been sprinkling the shit in his music since '96, like since '97.
Right. So I'm like, come on, man, you got to do this.
I mean, do you understand? It's like that's one of those reasons. I complete conjecture. I have apps, but this is one of those the lore and the myth that they they build about people, right? If you don't notice, when Jay-Z's in an interview, he's always looking and talking to the person as if he has information that they just aren't aware of.
Mm-hmm.
It might not have anything to do with what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But there's a look and there's a presence that he gives people, is that he's armed with secrets and information that you don't know anything about, and he's talking to you and he's keeping his words minced, and you're not getting much from him. This nigga really got, huh?
He be speaking from up here.
Exactly, but it may be because he actually has the best secrets in the world. Like, I got the best stories, and you sitting here asking me about this, and I know what stories I have. Like, this is insane.
So I do have a question, and this is just a question, not necessarily for them specifically, right? But a question. Why? But it's coming on the heels of what you just said. Why has nobody ever asked them this? That is interviewed.
Right.
Charlemagne, DJ Envy, Angela. I remember that being one of his last radio interviews. Why didn't they ask? Funk Flex, y'all avid listeners of his music, and y'all in New York, some of y'all knew about this. So why no one see? And that goes back to what I said was the idol worship theory, but maybe more so seeking favor or can't beat the person, so you don't want to bring it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I ask him. I want to know.
Yeah, shit. I want to know. The most he gonna be like, bro, is that's none of your business.
Yeah, okay. And you say that, I'll say, got you. All right, next question. Because believe me, I got a billion more things I can ask you about your music other than that. But if you will, I'm gonna take my shot now. Because if you're willing to open up on my interview with me and talk about this,
this all we talk about.
Yeah,
it's in depth. We going to get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because I
agree.
With all three of their life was like at that time where they're going through this in '94.
Imagine a podcast or a video show, and you hearing Desiree's story about what happened, and then you hearing Juan's story about what happened, and then you hearing from three different, like, they not together at all, and you just hearing the three different perspectives of the story.
Bro, listen to me good. Doing a podcast about it would be good, or yo, bro, look, this is $1 billion idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, I already doing an interview on Title Site that would drive up their numbers, right? But imagine what you just said. There are three different perspectives, and I'm saying this because I like Power series, but now there's like this recent one just came from Tariq's perspective. Do a fucking series.
Yep.
From all three y'all perspectives. Number one, you got to start out from Jay, because he's the highlight. I think I would start with Jay or Desiree Perez, but I would just say Jay because it would garner more attention. But the whole thing will garner attention because it's tied to him and Rock Nation as a whole. But either however you sequence it, Jay perspective, Desiree perspective, OG Juan perspective, because all of them felt different ways. One, you're married; they're married, so I feel a different type of way and have a different type of perspective as this being my wife that's facing all this time. Her being that I'm facing all this time and what I'm going to do because I know who I'm connected to. Then Jay being a friend, and then that's your right hand man girl. Like, it's just so many perspectives. You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
those would be crazy.
Imagine what you're saying right now. Exactly. Imagine what you're saying right now, doing that, but they run concurrently.
Yeah.
But they all share art. They all share actors. But this one looks different because it's from Jay's perspective, and this one looks different and feels different because it's from Juan's, and this one, but they all own at the same time.
Yeah.
Telling the same story.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So at the same time that she's telling this part of the story, he's going through the emotion that caused this, and Jay is over here worried that this. But these stories are all happening at the same time. But it's not flipping back and forth. It's just three different series. Oh God!
Yo, what's Rock Nation's main email? See him? We need to send an invoice.
Facts.
We just gave them a $1 billion idea, $2 billion ideas.
I mean, even if they, of course, change the names and lie. You know what I mean? Right. Whatever you got to do, but this needs to happen. People need to know this story, yo. I mean, do they really need to know this story? But they do.
I think they do. And you know what makes it so significant? Because it's coming from one of the biggest figures of hip-hop of all time. Right. And his music, his whole catalog is riddled with this story. So, yeah.
Yo, at the end of Jay's career, the very end, you start releasing this type of content, and then you tell people that it's in the music.
Do you know what's going to happen to that catalog? You talking about, you know how people die and then they're like MF Doom, his streams was been number one or whatever. Do you know what that'll do?
Mm-hmm.
Streams go insane.
Yeah.
And he become another legend all over again.
Yeah. As long as the statute of limitations is up, he good.
Yeah, that was 90. So I think they good.
And she ain't got shit to worry about. She just got pardoned.
Yeah, she don't got nothing to worry about. She turned her badge in today.
She should have been doing dirt the whole time.
I know. Oh, man.
She Gucci. Damn, son. But yeah, man. This is one of those good fantasy episodes, man. We just kind of cut the mic on and see where it go. Off a topic, off of something we just genuinely interested in.
Mm-hmm.
And it always finds a way to work all our thoughts on what we thought might be good enough, what might not be good enough, what might not be enough. But we all figured out how to work it all in. And not even figured out, it just naturally works in because it's things we want to talk about.
Right.
But man, you think we did enough on Desiree?
But yeah, man, and until you and I, co-write and direct this Netflix series we're gonna do and host this interview with them on Titan, moderate it. Yeah. Until then, we done.
You done spoke that thing into existence, so that's what it is. That's what it is. Hey, but as usual, man, I'm gonna ask y'all to go to Instagram and Facebook and follow us at Conversate for a Few. Make sure you hit the subscribe and notification link on YouTube so you can know when the show drops every week. Make sure you follow us and subscribe on Apple Music, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Anchor, everywhere you can get a podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the show. Stay tuned for the limited edition Few Tang Clan merch. We're going to get to work on this book soon. Free Desiree. I guess ain't no reason to say Free Desiree because she out. But yeah. Nah, but other than that, yo, I'm Jonna.
I'm Alan. This was not a podcast about classical music.
Absolutely was not. This is a podcast about hip hop. Make room for the tag.
Conversate for a few.
Hustle, welcome, man, they had to send me. Hustle from Raleigh, live from NC with your hosts, John and Alan. Relate to the two, you are now listening to Conversate for a few. Check it on SoundCloud, debate with your crew. They talking hip-hop from the late to the new. From July till June end, no Fridays for me, tune in. Please listen to this podcast. 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 Please listen to this podcast.